Hey everybody, welcome back to some Moisted Meaty. Maybe we should give an apology for not having episodes released, or maybe we shouldn't. What do you say, Christian?
Absolutely not.
Well, there you go. He's got it for you, alright? There you go. This is the Moisted Meaty show with me, Meaty, and Christian is Moist. Today we got RFID talking about everything else. Today, this episode right here is going to be our first time doing a lot of it just out of our ass. We're going to be improvising, if you will, in some spots. Of course, we've done our research ahead of time, but there's a list of topics we can come up with this episode without, having them pre-planned exactly which ones we're going to do ahead of time. So, with that, we are going to start with our first segment, though. That segment is called Freak or Fiction. Christian, do you know what freak or fiction is? Tell the audience.
No, explain to me.
No, you're not excited enough. Do you know what freak or fiction is?
Andrew, I would love it if you explained to me. I'd be really moist if you did.
Okay, so freak or fiction is a new segment I came up with here, which is I'm going to read you off a crime, a heinous act, or something that's just unbelievable, and you're going to tell me if that's fact or that's a piece of fiction. So, you ready to get into some freak or fiction?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start off here with one of the simplest ones I got on here. Girl tells veterinarian that she plans on setting her husband on fire. Is that a piece of fiction, or is that a freak?
Oh, fuck. With people nowadays, I honestly don't know. Fact.
You are correct. That is fact. Okay. Wife smashes husband's face with a stolen ATM machine over drug dispute. You're going to tell me if that's freak or that's a piece of fiction.
Oh, fuck. Freak?
Nope. That is actually a scene from Breaking Bad.
Alright.
So, you have 1 point out of 2, so you've lost 1.
That's good enough for me.
Well, we're going to go into the third one, so we still got a long list of things to go through.
Alright.
Okay, so man fakes heart attack so friend can steal a motorized Barbie car from Walmart.
Fiction.
Nope, that's factual.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, this.
Oh my god.
So,
this can't be
Florida
real.
thief appears to fake heart attack as his friend steals Barbie car from Walmart.
Why? What the fuck?
It was a Christmas present plan.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Mind you, these men are both 30 years old. What kind of two grown-ass adults walk into Walmart and come out the other end with a Barbie car? I guess they didn't get away with it.
I don't know what the fuck to say about this.
So concerned customers and employees stop to help, with ones appearing to make a 911 call. Scott, meanwhile, is seen rolling the goods out of the store. The other guy miraculously stands up with his hand still pressed on his heart before slowly making it out of the store. Cops said the pair met up again outside and drove the same car. Do they mean the car that they drove into with? Or did they drove off on the Barbie car?
Hopefully the Barbie car.
Okay, so There you go. That one was actually truthful.
Oh my
That
god.
was real. So okay. So man rapes and murders service dog because it killed his iguana.
Oh my god. Freak.
Yep, you're absolutely right. That was a
Oh
freak.
my fucking god. That is just ridiculous.
Let's see here.
I probably shouldn't laugh at that.
Man's. We left it much worse. Come on now. Man
Oh
accused
yeah.
of dog's rape, murder claimed. Dog killed his iguana.
Oh my fucking god. What the fuck is
Can
wrong
you
with people?
imagine getting into court and you know, in his defense, Your Honor, he killed his dog because he was angry and grievance over his iguana's death. How does that justify
Typical
the
reasoning.
rape, though? The guy's a fucked up guy.
That is fucking just off the wall batshit crazy.
So let's see, what did we have? Like 3 freaks, 1 fiction. All right, so let's read off the next one I got. 2 officers dead after jumping from a building in order to pursue wrecking ball robbers.
That's fiction.
Can you
And
name
the
one
other
piece of
guys,
fiction? There you go, dude. I'm not even really. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad you got that one,
I've seen that movie way too many times.
dude. That's probably debatably the best movie for comedy
Ever
wise. Yeah,
created.
or ever. Okay, death row inmate pulls out own eye, eats it, claims he eats it.
Freak. This has to be real.
Yeah, you're
There's some
right. Yeah,
fucked up
that's
people.
4, man. Good job.
After what I've heard so far, I'm not doubting it.
Death row inmate pulls out eye, says he ate it.
Oh my
He was arrested for the fatal stabbings of his wife, their young son, and 13-month-old daughter. What the? How does this guy have a 13 or like children at this point? What? How do you flip a switch and go off? You know that's like another. That's a whole nother thing here. Jesus Christ.
my
He will
fucking
be
god.
able to receive the mental health care he had wanted and begged for from day one. What? For he ate, but and then he proceeds to eat his eye. This
Oh,
dude's fucking nuts, dude.
has some balls on him. He ripped that
Okay,
bitch out.
so girl shoots boyfriend during bank robbery to get money for herself. Freak or fiction?
Fuck. Freak.
Nope. Sorry, that's fiction. That's actually
Alright.
Lost.
It is?
Yes. Have you seen
Oh,
Lost?
fuck it. Yeah, I don't remember that though.
Yeah,
It's been
that's in a
like
fairly older show, so
forever
I'm
since I've
sure.
seen it.
Yeah. So let's see. Alright, so I believe. Let's see. Yeah, we're on our last one here. Man builds rocket to prove Earth is flat.
Oh, that's freak.
Yeah, it is. How did you
Yeah,
know?
I've read that. I read it. It wasn't good.
Damn. I guess I could have gone into obscurity there, but that would have been a lot better had you not known. Like that just sounds nuts. Daredevil. Here, let me pull up the article here. Rocket, Rocket Man, rocket launch will prove Earth is flat. California man says. A California man intends to launch himself 1,800 feet high on Saturday in a home-built rocket to prove that astronauts fake the shape of the Earth. Do you think like he's tested these kind of things and he's ready for it to come back like safely?
He's fucking crazy.
Oh my god, he said if you're not scared to death, you're an idiot. He says, but you're not an idiot for building your own makeshift rocket and flying the bitch about 2,000 feet in the air.
That's so dumb.
What if he never comes back and he's just like his final message to Earth is, Turns out I was wrong. Earth is definitely not flat. Like he's just lost in space.
That'd be, man.
So
Or what if it
he's
just exploded before it even took off?
John Glenn and Neil Armstrong are Freemasons, Hughes said. Once you understand that, you understand the roots of deception.
Oh my
This
fucking
dude is
god.
a crazy lunatic.
How much meth do you need to smoke to think this stuff?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's too much for me. I mean, I don't actually remember. No, okay, so 23rd of November. So I'm wondering if this, like, did we get to hear the results? What if NASA? It's like you see NASA shut down and shit. They're like nothing to see here.
Trying everything they can for him to, not prove it.
You want to know your score?
Yes.
You got 5 out of the 8 correct. So good job, man. You know how to spot your freaks, and you know how to spot your pieces of fiction.
What can I say? I'm just I had something for that, but I lost it. So,
That's alright, man. You've been through a lot in this past couple of, 10, 20
yeah.
minutes, however long. I'm not even keeping track of time. Um, so one of the things we could have brought up, and I've wanted to talk about this because I've had this on my mind for a while, and I brought this up with our next topic being net neutrality and the time between this episode and the next being a small interval. We'll be getting on to some of that stuff. Another internet related thing is studios offering to stream their movies on the time that it comes out for about $40-$50, somewhere around there. And I'll have the link in the description. So I've been thinking how, when you think about it, that's a pretty good price. You're saving on tickets. Have you 3, 4, 5 people? Tickets are rising, and you got all the expenses for snacks and everything. So I'm thinking theaters could easily lose out to these studios releasing their movies because streaming is becoming a big option now. So I've been thinking, people go out to theaters for the sake of it.
For the
People,
experience, maybe.
right? People go out, dates, going out with friends. It's what keeps the theater alive, right? So I've been thinking, as a solution to that, if you want to keep theaters alive, you have to make it alive. So I'm thinking bringing back drive-in theaters, right? Think about it. Think about just. I would rather go to a drive-in theater on a good day, on a nice clear day. Of course, then you have winners and everything else, but I would go into it. I would take drive-through theater over a sit-in theater any day. I don't even really care for going to the theater alone, but a drive-through theater is something I've thought about. Like it's just you could sit in your car or lay a couple of blankets out, like night sky, nice clear day, clear night out, and you're just watching a movie with a couple of friends or maybe a girl. All right, so drive-in theaters were the poster for romanticism in the '60s. So I'm thinking, they could save theaters, have they bring back drive-in theaters, because it's all about the event of it. I would rather go through that than stream my own movies.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think we should bring back drive-through theaters. I didn't like to see them die like that. It's such a cool concept. That's what I think. I've been thinking about that. Theaters could come back through drive-through. We talked to this with a couple of other people, and people thought this was relatively a cool idea. Just having a couple of beers in the hood of your car.
Watching Cars 2 on the big screen.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why is that?
Because it's Cars 2.
Oh, right, right.
Because the first Cars, after you watch it so many times, it was boring. I've probably seen that movie like 30 fucking times as a kid. It was like one of the only discs we had, I guess. I don't even
I've
remember
seen
the
it
reason for it. But once you see
once.
Lightning McQueen drive on the same, like, country off-roads, like, 10 times throughout the movie, and 30 times because you've watched the movie 30 times, it gets a little boring. And you have to hear Larry the Cable Guy every fucking time, and you get a little bothered. That was a horrendous Larry the Cable Guy impression.
That was not good, but I mean, you tried, right?
Hey man, why don't you show me your Larry the Cable Guy impression?
Wait, how does he sound again?
You know what? Forget it. Matter of fact. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to our topic, RFID. So, without further ado, this is the Moist and Meaty Show. He's Moist,
And he's Meaty.
and we've done this take about a couple of times, more than a couple now.
Too many times.
So going on, you're probably thinking what RFID may be, and if you don't know, then it's radio frequency identification, and basically it uses, so readers use electromagnetic waves to identify these tags, these microchips, attached to objects. Well, these chips store information much like a barcode, and when they're scanned, obviously the reader picks up the location and sends it back to the receiver. And you might be thinking how this affects you. Well, credit cards are starting to carry them, and U.S. passports already have them, and you may have not even known that, but you don't even have to be within feet for it to be read. In fact, a lot of the chips now can read it up to 12 meters or 37 feet, and some of the new, even newer designs can get up to 15 meters, which is 49 feet for the views, for those of you who don't want to do the conversions. And that might not seem like anything important, but that makes it pretty easy to walk into public and get tracked on however your objects are, or whatever you're carrying. And some people have a problem with this, but that's not really my biggest concern. My biggest concern is when people at River Falls, the company issues an idea to microchip its employees to store information for convenience. So, this is a quote from the CEO over River Falls in Wisconsin. The company's 3 Squared Market. The CEO, Todd Westby, says having the chip implanted basically eliminates all the carrying around of the data. So, 50 out of the 80 people here at Square Market has already gotten it. And people are eager to get these things, but they don't know. And this is their claim. The company says that they won't track their whereabouts and their location. But they basically can, right?
Yeah.
So if it were me, I don't think that I would be accepting an implant.
No, I wouldn't either.
They claim GPS won't be a feature, but would you really trust that?
No. It just
They
seems it's
several
off-putting, kind of.
Yeah, several states have banned mandatory implanting because it would be unconstitutional and inhumane, right? But think about in the future, and this is what scares me, if companies, because it's so easy, and a lot of, we're already pushing away from paper money as it is now. What if in the future, because it's more convenient and cheap, you're pretty much forced to get RFID implants because nobody wants to use credit cards anymore. So they're not making them, right?
Yeah.
That is my fear of it. Several states have already banned mandatory implanting, but what happens when you can't land a job because you don't have the RFID chip? So now it takes the whole tinfoil conspiracy to a whole nother. And when I say tinfoil, I mean it literally. Tinfoil is in tinfoil blocks electromagnetic waves. So people are carrying around tinfoil wallets to block out, or they're just completely puncturing the RFID chips and the credit card. And of course, thank God for Christians in this case, because this is going around that the microchips are the mark of the beast. Getting these implanted, Christians believe, there's several people out there who believe that this is the mark of the beast, right?
Of course, it's the Christians.
I mean, not all. Of course, not all of them think that. I don't
Yeah.
really know what to think of it because I don't think of it that way, but my aunt certainly does. um, and I mean, it kind of like it kind of seems like it could be a symbol of. I don't really know what to think of that. Well, RFID chips, they're trying to be more innovative with it and put it on a lot of the things that we use every day. So like smart gun that an RFID are, you'd be unable to fire your gun unless you're in a certain proximity to a corresponding RFID tag, right? So in that case, the reader would have to be close to the gun, which also means that your location would be tracked. What sense does that make? How does that solve gun control problems? You know what I mean? This is a response to
Yeah.
gun control problems, but it doesn't exactly. The Amtrak's IPL requires the shooter to wear a watch in order to shoot. We're basically getting guns so that we have protection against a rogue government or we have a chance to self defend ourselves, not the convenience of if we have a reader in sight to pick up our location and our information on the gun. Especially when if technology fails, and where are you in that scenario? Nobody wants RFID tags on guns. That doesn't solve your problems. People forget the whole reason people own guns is to defend themselves and protect their freedom. Again, from like a rogue government. That's been the issue ever since the Second Amendment to bear arms. They're giving people only more of a reason to own guns. Is when you're pushing RFID technology, you're asking yourself how many freedoms you want to give in for the sake of security or technological innovation. And I say none. I would never microchip myself for the sake of convenience of a company that I don't even know if I'm going to work for the rest of my life. When I think of office
Yeah.
jobs, I certainly don't want to sit down and be in an office job for the rest of my life. It's not me. That would be miserable for me. To think that I'm going to get myself microchipped so that, what if you leave? What do you do about that implant still in you? Your
Take the whole
company,
hand off.
that actually sounds like some technological futuristic movie where the RFID tags have been implanted and in order to cut off tracking from the government, you cut off your hand, get a
Yeah.
bionic arm.
That'd be
RFID
fucking
sounds a
cool.
lot like fiction from the future. You know what I mean? That's what I think of it. I think
Yeah, it does.
when we push technology like this that can be tracked from any reader up to like 49 feet, and people are wanting guns to hold these kind of things, it kind of makes me think, how good is a technological innovation that takes security over our freedoms? How much convenience do we want for the price of our freedom? And again, I say none. But that's just me. I don't want all companies to start requiring RFID chips. You know.
Yeah.
So that's just an issue to think about as RFID is starting to become more innovative and cheaper to make, and we might see RFID. I definitely don't want to see a future where RFID becomes the thing to get for for business, and job applicants, the first thing they look for is that if you have the RFID chip implanted. I don't like the idea of that. so that
Yeah.
you can always be tracked and information can always be stored. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of RFIDs? You know what I mean?
I'm with you on it. I don't really. Who's to say you're not going to work at that place in like a year? Then what?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be there?
So, you're not really fond of the idea of mandatory trackings could be possible with, you know, the idea of all of this coming out, right?
Yeah. At least not for, like, you know.
I think it's sheep like to get an implant like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it
That's
gives
what it
me
seems
free
like.
bonuses. I can get Lay's chips easier at the vending machine.
Alright. I didn't think of that. Fuck. Vending machines
Now
at
you're gonna
work?
trade it.
That'd be great.
I don't think so, Christian. I don't think so. Not for me. Dude, what if I said it doesn't solve the problem of your chips, of it stealing your money?
No, I'm out. It's that easy.
That'll conclude our main topic. Okay, so concluding RFID, closing the main topic to putting it to a close. I have I have an article here that I still haven't said anything about here. I've had this one for a while. So let's see. This was the 21st of October. This happened. This article was posted. So coin tossing elderly Chinese woman causes flight chaos. So she was flying luckier, but wasn't enough for an elderly Chinese woman who tossed coins at the jet engines to wish for a safe flight. Prompting
God.
authorities to detain her and ground the flight. This happened in China, and so basically here what this article says is a 76-year-old woman threw coins into jet engines for good luck on a flight.
I don't. It's so fucking dumb.
So the woman was detained but eventually spared prosecution due to her age. Um, Also, the worst thing is this wasn't the first time. So in June, a superstitious 80-year-old woman delayed a China Southern Airlines flight at Shanghai's Pudong International Airport for nearly 6 hours after she tossed 9 coins at the engine. What is up with old Chinese ladies throwing coins into the jet engines of planes? Why is this a common thing?
But that's China for you.
Does this happen often in China?
I'm assuming so.
yeah, yeah, it's a common theme. Well, dude, that's absurd. Who
Just
fucking throws
crazy
coins
old
in?
bitch throwing coins in the jet
It's
engine
so
again.
ironic to throw coins into a jet engine and wish that your jet engine doesn't blow up.
It's so fucking dumb.
They're
I
throwing
just
it in
don't
like it's a
understand.
wishing fountain. Here's to a safe travel. They're like, not again, fuck!
I just
That's the
don't
third old
understand.
woman to throw coins into the fucking jet engine.
Why?
That
Fuck,
would
I
be a
just
common
can't
question
wrap
to
my
ask.
mind around this.
Maybe we're just too tired to even want to.
Even if I was wide awake, I don't fucking understand this. Why?
Oh god. Yeah. I don't.
Have a safe trip. I'm just gonna throw some coins in the, engine. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know here. So the last thing, I don't even know. Is this even a segment? Would you consider movies coming out even a segment anymore? I feel like it's no. You know what? It's a segment. So here's his next segment, bitches.
Yeah, fuck
Movies
you
coming
guys if you
out.
think anything different.
Jesus. Let's. We should actually be kissing our ass right now. Hey
Please
guys,
don't
please
leave the
don't leave
channel. We
us.
love you.
Yeah. Please give a like, thumbs up, and comment.
We need you, alright?
Yeah. Tell your friends to subscribe, bitch.
Bitch, we don't need you. That was all a ruse.
We're such fucking retards.
We are.
Alright, so movie coming out. So we got Coco, Pixar movie.
Garbage.
So I don't know garbage. Do you even know what it's about?
Absolutely not. Pixar, though. Terrible.
Um,
And I have a feeling someone's just gonna rip me to pieces in the comments now.
so no, nobody will because it's a newer movie coming out, and there's no reason for anybody in our audience to want to go out and see Coco. And if so, I'm sorry if you do.
Oh, yeah, Pitch Perfect 3, right?
Despite his family, wait, is that coming out?
Yeah.
I didn't even get to read the plot for Coco. We'll get to Pitch Perfect 3, alright. Despite his family's generation old band on music, young Miguel's dreams of becoming an old accomplished musician like his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz. Do you like that? That was pretty good. Desperate to prove his talent, Miguel finds himself in the stunning and colorful land of the dead. Why is the land of the dead colorful? No, it's Pixar, so of course, see, let's not nitpick here. I mean, that's a question for me. But, so Pixar's at it again. Of course, at this point, I don't know the difference between Pixar and Disney, other than the fact that Pixar was
Didn't Disney
bought out
buy
by...
Pixar?
Yeah, absolutely. But at this point, they're kind of the same,
Yeah.
they release the same movies. Speaking of Pixar, we got Cars 3 coming out, which we mentioned Cars 2. So,
Are you kidding me?
Cars 3, did you not hear about this?
What? Since when?
Apparently, like, this might be his last movie or some shit.
Dude, I thought a Cars 3 already came out.
Did you know that in 2011, there was not really spin-off, but a short film, Toy Story, like a toy at a fast food restaurant switches place with Buzz Lightyear. That's the plot. Then again, it is only 7 minutes, but
That sounds fucking
that sounds
retarded.
awful. Yeah, that's...
Even for 7 minutes.
There's a reason he didn't come back in the next Toy Story. They're like, get his ass out of here. Andy just kind of steps on him, and he's like, well, shit. I don't know, that fucker went off to college. We don't need another Toy Story movie. And listen, Toy Story is not debatably, the best Pixar movie.
Absolutely, I agree.
Thank you for agreeing with me. I am glad that you agree with me.
Wait, who made Monsters, Inc.?
Toy Story. I mean, fuck. Pixar made Monsters, Inc.
Alright, I love that movie too.
Yeah. The second one
Not
was...
University. It was awful.
what about the second? Yeah.
Didn't like it.
See, the Toy Stories kept getting good. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were always as good as the first one.
Alright, so you mentioned Pitch Perfect.
There's also Jumanji or whatever.
Hey, one movie at a time.
Sorry, it's movies. It's like the air I breathe. Not really.
Okay, so after the highs of winning the world championships, the Bellas find themselves split apart and discovering they aren't job prospects for making music with their mouth. Wait, what?
Excuse me?
Wait, isn't that
Yeah,
what the
that
whole movies are about? I thought they're an acapella group.
Wait, is that the end? We pretty much just saw the movie.
No, well, no, this is the plot. So, but when they get the chance to reunite for an overseas USO, don't know what that is. The group of awesome nerds will come together to make some music and some questionable decisions one last time. Sounds good, right? Maybe we need a 4.
No. I will not watch
Wait,
this.
so they're not prospects for making music with their mouth, but they're in an a cappella competition.
Oh my
How the
god.
hell does that work out? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Did I read that right? Am I retarded? Can somebody please
I thought
comment
you were
and tell
retarded
me?
when you said that.
I'm not the one that said that. They said that. I repeated it.
Wow.
Alright, what is... You know what? Nobody gives two shits about Pitch Perfect 3 here. Here or nowhere else. I don't know why it's... You know what? No, I can't say that because
No
I've
one
heard
gave
people
a
talk
fuck
about...
about the second one.
No, I've heard people talk about Pitch Perfect. That's the thing. Did you hear what happened to the Bellas?
What? I've never once in my life heard anyone talk about that movie.
Um, Justice League. There's another one coming out. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares?
Listen, I'm a Marvel fan. We all know that by now. That's not...
Yeah. Just quit sucking Marvel's dick, alright? We all get it.
No, that's the thing is they're. I know that you can tell that they're recreating Marvel's. They're trying to recreate Marvel's success with their movies coming
Yeah.
out aligned. So that you let's see. When Civil War came out, you had about Batman versus Superman, which I don't think was coincidental. I think they were trying to come around. However, they didn't recreate Marvel at its finest success with just 10 years of movies leading up to one another. It's the stories coming together. Like that was the whole point. Like Justice League is. I don't understand when that one was a little bit late, but you didn't have movies leading into it like Marvel did with the Avengers. You didn't have a
Yeah.
separate movie for Aquaman, so we don't really know, nor could we give two shits about his backstory. I don't think the old Superman stories I don't think it's canon with whatever is happening now. But you had Batman versus Superman. I thought Superman died or some shit like that. Listen, I will say the Batman trilogy, which isn't canon to the rest of the series, which ultimately should be, that was absolutely fantastic. Some of the greatest films, some of the greatest superhero films. They were done perfectly. Christian Bale was a great Batman.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't give people that have you seen Justice League? Every time if we could be talking about Marvel, I don't, listen, I'm a Marvel fan. I'll tell you I'm a Marvel fan. I respect that you you might be caring about Justice League, but I don't think their movies are done great.
Yeah.
41% on Rotten Tomato, however, 7.2 on IMDb. 88% of Google users like this movie. So there you go. That's kind of some mixed reviews.
Nostalgia?
There. Nostalgia of what? They can't get their movies right, so I don't know, man.
Well, when it's
Wonder
on a
Woman's
fucking
kinda
sweaty
odd,
nerds
right?
that only read comic books, they're like, oh shit, this is gonna be great. And
No,
then,
no, 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 no. I doubt that anybody that reads comic books, the DC comic books, give two shits about. They're probably disowning DC. They're like, you're not doing it right.
Actually, probably.
Wonder Woman's hot, and she's got boobs.
Agreed.
So,
The movie was not fun to watch, though.
did you see the movie?
Yeah, it was not fun. I didn't like it.
So for some reason, feminists complained that she was the stereotypical view of a superhero woman, but of course she's a superhero because she's got athletic ability. I mean, she's I don't even really know her story, so I can't really speak about her. But you know what? That's not even the point. We're talking about movies coming out, so let's go on here too about our last film or two. So let's see what other movies we got. Daddy's Home 2.
Why is there a second one?
I don't know. What did you think of the first one? Can we talk about that
I
first?
didn't like it, really.
Did you not? I see. I've heard that before, and I thought it was better. It was definitely better than I thought it would be. You know what is funny though? Daddy's Home 2 got a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god.
However, 85% of the people or 85% of Google users like this movie. So, it's not always what the critics think, but that's pretty low even for critics.
Yeah.
I thought the plot was kind of funny when you see Will Ferrell smooch with his daddy. See, some of it was kind of funny, and there was, of course, some of them that were just kind of stupid. They probably took the black character further, and yes, black character because he was purposely there for being black stereotype. Actually, in words, black man. That was the whole purpose of him, and he is all right, but they probably stretched that too far. Some of the jokes were just kind of stretching.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Daddy's Home was better than I had thought, and there's probably people watching right now that are like, Daddy's Home fucking sucked. Fuck you and your comedy did. No, I don't know. I don't know. I can understand where people are coming from, but I don't. Let's go on to our last movie here. What do we got? What other movies do you see here?
Jumanji.
Oh God. I know
Yeah,
people aren't
that's
very happy
exactly what
with.
I said.
Like I agree. I don't think we need a remake of that. I don't understand. If I remember right here, I, I don't know. I thought the first Jumanji and what was the other one? What was the other film
The
that was
other
based
one.
on the board game? You don't.
Fuck if I know.
What? Um, Jumanji? Dude, I spelled Jumanji right on the first try. How do you do that? And Zathura was it? You've never seen the Zathura?
Wait,
Zathura, I think,
explain
was
it.
the first one. Zathura was was just like Jumanji, where the board game sucks in, and it was two children, brothers. Um,
I've seen that.
Little kid from RV.
Doesn't a fucking astronaut like come into their house or some
Yes,
shit?
yes, absolutely. I think the little brother dies at the end, and he rolls back the entire time, or goes into some virtual reality kind of deal.
That movie was not that bad.
That movie was fucking awesome. It was way better than it needed to be. So I don't even remember Jumanji all that well. Wasn't Robbins in that movie?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that movie was just so boring. There's,
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I take the board game should be responsible for it. Never mind. Never mind. How else is a Robbins joke gonna go? I don't even think it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What's that dude's name? Like Robin Williams or something?
I've been calling him Robbins. I was trying to like not let people know that I had no idea what the fucker's first name was
I
here.
don't fucking know his name. He killed himself like 3 years ago. That's
Dude,
all I
how
know.
long has it been?
I don't know.
Uh-huh. 2014. Uh-huh. 3 years ago.
Longer than I thought it was. I was actually thinking it happened recently.
No, you got it exactly right. 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was sort of second guessing my answer though.
Okay. So
Because I didn't give a fuck about this actor at all.
he was alright in RV, and like he was a nice guy and everything. But I mean,
Yeah, he seemed like a cool guy, but
how long
like,
are you
the
gonna?
movies
How
he
far are
was
you
in.
gonna take in a Hollywood death? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never knew
It's
the
like I
guy.
didn't
So
personally
you know, that's a
know this guy.
conversation for another time. Now we're about at our time limit here, so we're gonna call this one an episode. This is the Moist and Meaty Show, and we just did RFID.